I'm sure that a lot many of you don't have any idea regarding the fifth largest industry, and that's what we call as game development industry. Now, if I combine movie plus music industry as a whole worldwide, game development industry is 3 to 4 times larger than combining both of them. Now, if we look at the game development industry, which is my core industry, I started India's one of the first game development company called Virtual Infocom in 1998, and I was 17 years old when I started that. It's been a roller coaster ride, been a while. So I'll come back to the exact topic. I'll not shift here and there. So game development have got one of the core department which we call as game coding. Now game coding have got various different aspect segments. Number one thing that we usually use is the developers who are doing artificial intelligence coding inside the game as a game mechanics. Similar that you can think of regarding today's Gen AI developers. So as an industry, we have been using artificial intelligence over 40 plus years now. So me myself, I'm using it for last 25 plus years, and definitely our employees and a few bit of others are using it for last 28 plus years in the company itself. So artificial intelligence is not pretty new for us. The second department that we talk is more on the coding segment, where we usually ask a developer to code the user interaction. That means when you play a game, you are practically interacting with the computer keyboard as well as the mouse, or if you're playing it in mobile or in the console, you're interacting that with the hardware. That means you're interacting with the touchscreen as well. Then we have multiple number of algorithmic developers. So that includes definitely another layer wherein you are probably working with UI and user experience. Then we have developers who are working on the plugin segment, and those plugin segments are sometimes going for the VFX, sometimes going for the sound effects. So if we dig into a little bit more, you will probably find out game development have got another interesting subject line, which is game art. So an artist who is actually creating art for the game, it can be a character artist, it can be props artist, it can be an artist who is actually working on the environment, and there are lighting artists. So which means you have core very strong department where people need to understand fashion designing, they need to enhance it, they need to uplift it into a layer so that you like a character. So don't think that game artists don't understand fashion. We understand fashion better than probably a normal fashion designer. Sorry for the real fact. Look at any game that is there in the world, you will find out mind-blowing designing over there. Of course, we work very, very closely with designers who are fashion designers, and sometimes we handshake and collaborate with them. Then we have another segment wherein we work on the UI. So that means when you are having some buttons, you are interacting with that, you have a menu, you have some kind of dashboard. So there is another layer. Then we have data scientists who are working very, very deeply with the game developers. And the reason for this, when you do a lot many different kind of game and then you have many users, you are interacting with the users, the entire mechanism needs to understand. For an example, if you have millions of download probably from some app store, it can be GP, it can be probably Apple, it can be some third party. We usually have a tendency of understanding the entire user and their details, their country, their retention time. So it's another huge department which is connecting with the database management, data science, analytics. And of course, when you make a game which is on the networking level, that means you are probably playing with several different other users, which is sometimes an RPG game, sometimes an action game, sometimes a racing game. Probably you are using that network to play the game with your friends. So please understand, you are doing network level coding in the backend. That means game development have got another department where we have to work with networking as well. And then we have encryption, then we have cybersecurity, then we have few bit of legal departments which is taking care of all those kind of activities that is there. For a declaration, let me give you a simple hint. Game development doesn't mean betting. So betting is completely different. I'm talking more on the real game development, which is either on PCs or consoles or mobiles, or probably genre wise like action, racing, fighting, multiple like RPG. So when you combine all of this, there is another interesting department that we usually work on, which is music. In game, have you ever played any game? Just let me understand that. If you have played, I'm sure that you have enjoyed the music inside the game. We call it as background score. Okay. Now, BG, background music, or BGM, background music, as a structure, we have to work a lot on the musical segment. Sometimes earlier times we used to use bands. We used to hire real guitarist, piano, drums. We used to do that with several different musicians. But nowadays, utilizing artificial intelligence on GenAI, of course we can generate any kind of music that you can think of. So let me give a little bit of idea. Me as a person, I work on all these kind of various departments. I code, I design, I make the art, and of course I create the music. It's been a long time, so understanding music is really easy, and I'm a kind of person who loves to explore anything and everything on the extent of learning it in a complete way. Of course, I can play a little bit of musical instruments in real life, as well as I'm doing that in AI itself. Then there is another department where we usually work with several different other uh, publishers. That means you have a marketing department, you are talking with the publishers. Publishers are taking care of your game and they are publishing it worldwide. If you have that strength, definitely you can do it on your own. Multiple number of indie studios, they are doing self-publishing, works pretty well. So there are indie developers, there are indie development studios, people with probably 4 to 5 different team member. They are doing it like a commando. They are great people, and please understand that when you are working with the industry, they are recruiting multiple number of people as an employee. So do understand that this industry is just not became one of the largest industry. It became one of the finest, because utilizing game engines, you can also create few bit of solution on smart city development. You can go for digital twin. You can probably work on few bit of segment which is on simulation. You can work on something which we call as metaverse. So if you don't know, let me give you a little bit of idea on that, deviating the topic a little bit. There used to be a world called Second Life. Second Life was the early level before, way before metaverse even existed. So all these things actually are done from the segments of game development. Then we have another department. So I covered coding, I covered game art, I covered definitely the music part of it, I covered the encryption and cybersecurity. Then we have another department which is called game design. Now game design and game art both are the same. Game designers are the people who are conceptualizing the entire thing. That means they are giving you the entire storyline, and then if there is a storyline, and where will be the monetization methods will act, what will be the marketing style. So this is more of like a software architect. So game designers are not graphic designers, which is a myth that is happening in Bengal. I'm so sorry about this. There are multiple number of institutions and as well as universities who made it so complicated that when you say that you are a game designer, you are not. You are basically a game artist. So when you are doing on the game art part nowadays, utilizing Gen AI, you can use various different tools. I love several tools like C Dreams. If you really want to use that, you can use Kling as a platform to generate your image as well as your videos. And of course, you can use multiple different engines. I can probably talk a lot about the history of game development, what we have done so far, and the reason I'm live today, so that I can give you a little bit of idea about, a very little bit of idea about the one of the largest industry, number one. Number two, what disruption we did. So we did a massive disruption in at least India, starting from my hometown, Calcutta. Long back, 2010, 2009, that time, I started taking and recruiting models, actors, to become a character. So in today's time, you're probably utilizing those technology which we have created that time, to convert a real model into a 3D digital character, and then that 3D character is acting as a game player inside our title based game. For an example, you can always check games like Ashwatthama the Immortal, you can check games like Fight of the Legends. These are all available. There are websites www.ashwathamagame.com. You can also probably check Shaktiman. So we created Shaktiman with Mr. Mukesh Khanna. So there are multiple number of examples. I created a game called Boss 2 with Mr. Jeet as an actor, as well as Nusrat and Shubhasri. Made multiple different kind of IPs over that. We made a game called Nilanjana with Moinak and Priyanka Sarkar. Really, really great people. So I will probably touch upon all these kind of real production and what we have done so far so good. For an example, with Intel, Ultrabook, with Surface, Microsoft, with Schlumberger, so many different companies like Amazon. What are the kind of technologies that we have used? Of course, that is more exploring on technology plus business front. If anybody wish to enter in this industry and looking for some kind of support, collaboration, handshaking, always there. So please understand, if you are a musician, we use music regular basis in our games, so this is not new for us. And if you are an artist, if you are probably a fashion designer, please understand, we are doing it on a regular basis. This is not new to none of us. Unfortunately, Calcutta don't have that kind of education and knowledge which Southeast Asia have got or Western countries do have. And probably we are missing lot many recruitment over there. Please understand, the people who are playing game, they are not the developers, they are just playing the game. That means they are players. They can be a tester, but in today's time game testing became completely different. So probably I'll come on live and talk about what is the future and how esports can become a real live stream for all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And if you feel that this is interesting, feel free to comment, feel free to connect. I'll be more than happy to help in any way if I can. Thank you.